Hello everyone, hey, hope you're all doing well. Hello to anyone who might be watching, including people on the AGDQ Games Committee. And this is my submission video for Space Invaders 1999, the Earth Percent Normal category. So, this game, it's Space Invaders. It is pretty much like the Space Invaders you know and love. It plays pretty similar to it. However, it's not the original arcade version. This version is actually referred to as Space Invaders 1999 to differentiate it from the original arcade game that came out in 1978. Yeah, so this game was developed by Z-Axis and published by Activision, and as well as PC. It was also developed for the PS1 and Nintendo 64. I will be running it on the PC as it is the fastest version. Now, a question I get asked a lot when I tell people I run this game, they're like, oh, well, Space Invaders, that's cool, but doesn't it just go on forever? How can you speedrun it? And that is a valid question. However, this game doesn't work like that. It doesn't go on forever. You have a set amount of stages, and then we've got 10 levels per stage, including a boss. So for this run, I need to get all the way to Earth and defeat the final boss, and go as quick as I can and kill a lot of aliens to protect the solar system from those cosmic nasties. I absolutely love this game. I always have a really great time and really fun time running it. I loved this game when I was a kid as well. In fact, I still have the original CD over here. So yeah, what this is going to consist of is a video of my most recent personal bests of me doing the Space Invaders run, and I will be commentating over that run just to give a rundown as much as possible of how everything works and the strategies involved. The first stage, it's going to go really fast. There is a lot to explain in a lot of time, but I will do my best to encompass everything. Anyway, enough with the boring explanations. I'm pretty sure everyone here watching this is keen to see the run, so without further ado, let's blast some aliens and get to the run. Alright, so getting started in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Alright, the first thing I'm going to explain is what exactly the aliens do. So you'll notice that there are quite a few different colored aliens in this version of Space Invaders. The first one you see is red, and on these later levels in Pluto, you also get introduced to the blue, the green, and the yellow. These ones will pretty much be seen in almost all stages. Each level has a different assortment of aliens. Now, if you hit 4 like aliens in a row, you get a special missile. And the special missiles is something I'm going to use a lot to clear through these aliens really quickly. So, as you might have seen earlier in Pluto, if you get 4 red aliens, your special missile will be vertical blast. If you get 4 greens, like you saw right there, you get horizontal right. If you get 4 blues, you get horizontal left, and if you get 4 yellows, you get diagonal blast. So you can probably see right now there's a lot of motherships. That's because between levels 5 and 6 on every stage, there is a mothership level. It's pretty pointless for speedrun purposes. All the motherships give you in this stage are either points or an extra life, which is essential for a casual playthrough. You will probably also notice, though, that if you destroy a mothership like during a normal level, it will drop a power-up. I will be leveraging those as much as I can. The 4 possible power-ups which you can get from a mothership in a normal level is either Shield, that's just a really good safety net. You've got Max Energy, it'll max out your energy meter on the top left. You have Double Shot, which is an absolute essential for the speed run. You can't really complete it without it. And last but certainly not least, you have Time Stop, which freezes the enemies in place for about 5 seconds. I usually try and avoid that because it kind of stops me from doing my strats, but it definitely is useful for a handful of levels. Alright, so as you can see, I am collecting the special missiles really quickly and also using them quickly to clear all of the aliens, and we are going up into level 10 of Pluto, which is the last one before the boss. So I'm getting the horizontal left here, and I am just using them to clear the remainder of the rows. Alright, we're on to the first boss. So I always get a couple shots in just before it loads its hitbox, just so I can really try and get it down to its second phase quickly. Now, if I'm careful here, I can go kind of in position and kind of get missiles into it, get hits into it as it's doing its little sweep. So now I'm already in the third stage. I'm just dodging its little jump attack, and it is done. that is Pluto all over and done with. So a lot happening really quickly. Oh, and just the reason that I'm pausing here is for a PB submission, I must show the in-game time. In a speedrun marathon context, I will not have to pause the timer or wait for the next level to load. I can just jump straight into it. Alright, so now we are on to our next planet, which is Neptune. So you will have noticed a alien that is different from all the ones you saw in Pluto. So there is a unique alien. There is one unique alien per planet. In Neptune, it is called the Shifter. And when you hit 4 shifters in a row, you get something called the Swarm Missiles. So what the Swarm Missiles do is that they home in on a certain color of alien. So it's really good if you don't want to aim, like it's really good just for clearing quite a few and getting the special missiles super quick like I just did with those blue ones. I should also mention that each alien, even the common ones, have unique properties. So although the normal color ones are mostly the same, if you were paying attention pretty closely, you'll notice that the projectiles which are shot by the green and the blue aliens, those are not destructible. However, the projectiles which are shot from the yellow and the red aliens, they are destructible. So we really want to try and minimize the amount of projectiles which come from the enemies, especially the ones that shoot the indestructible projectiles, because the next level will not load until all projectiles are off the screen. So it's pretty easy, like to clear. Like you could shoot down destructible projectiles, and so you can get to the next level quickly. But for the indestructible ones, you need to wait for them to go onto the ground and just blow up. I should also mention that what special missiles rather, is that they also clear any indestructible projectiles in its path. Now, before I forget, I should also mention what are the unique properties of the Shifter. So the Shifter takes 2 hits to destroy instead of a usual 1, and as well, the projectiles it shoots, they are destructible, but they also take 2 hits to destroy. So what I'm doing here, I just use a horizontal right there to clear that first row of shifters. I now want to get a shifter heading into the next level, and here we go. In level 8, it is just a huge grid, so I'm going to get that diagonal one going to the right-hand corner, clear more shifters, get another horizontal, and then continue to clear the aliens as quickly as possible. And as you can see, that one is all good. We are now already onto level 9. So I'm going to start with getting a vertical burst, and now I'm just going to go ahead and spam the swarm missiles, and then I'll just finish off the remainder of them normally. You also might have noticed some barriers there. They appear, depending on the level, they don't appear on every level, but those can be handy to help me clear some aliens which I don't feel like shooting, so like I don't have to worry about shooting them. And they also are good at blocking projectiles, so that kind of clears that area. So anyway, that is Neptune all done. We are now on to the Neptune boss called the Ladybug. So each of its wings takes 10 hits to destroy, so I just got 10 here. I'm trying to get 10 on the right hand side. I kind of miss it, so I'm losing a little bit of time with that little spray, but as soon as it's vulnerable there, I need to start firing into it straight away before it goes into its mega spray phase. If it goes into its mega spray phase, I will lose about 10-15 seconds, so it's important that I kill it while it is still vulnerable, and that saves a heck of a lot of time. Alright, moving on to Uranus. I will be using that pronunciation for obvious reasons. So the unique alien on this one is called the Blocker. The unique feature of the Blocker is that if you shoot it, and there's a free space beside it, it will scatter some debris there, which is indestructible and takes about 2 seconds to clear. So that makes it a little annoying if I leave it last, so that's why I want to try and get them as early as possible. However, the special missile you get from the Blocker is the Laser Blaster, which is super fun and, in my opinion, quite overpowered. You still kind of need to move your ship a little bit in order for it to destroy every alien in the laser beam's path. But yeah, it is still, regardless, really fun to use. So in this particular one, I'm getting the Laser Blaster and just clearing all those enemies, the blue ones on the top left, using that barrier, I should say, sorry, to make sure that the Blocker doesn't split. I'm now going to be using the horizontal left to clear all of the rows, starting from the bottom, if you pay attention there, you might have seen that I was able to clear 2 rows with that last horizontal left. That's a trick in this game, so if you fire either a horizontal right or horizontal left missile, and then the aliens shift down 1 row after getting to one side, all the remaining enemies in that row and the one above it will be hit by that missile. So it's a really good speedrun strat. I will be using it a handful of times. But for this one, I'm starting with the horizontal, getting rid of the blockers, and I'm also getting another horizontal so I can get rid of another row. I did try and do a double row clear there, but I kind of got the timing incorrect, but that's alright. Just making sure I save a diagonal burst for the next level. We're now into level 7. This one, there's not many aliens here, and I actually misaligned that diagonal burst. So it only ended up getting 1 alien instead of 4, so I just kind of had to resort to just killing the aliens as quickly as possible. This one is just a full grid, so I'm going to be using the laser blaster to get rid of as many as possible. Obtain another laser blaster as quick as possible. I don't want the time stop, because if I kill a blocker while the time stop is there, its debris stays there. Like, you still have to wait for it to split up and disappear, so it's not really effective. So I'm starting with the vertical burst there, and then using the last of the laser blast to get the remainder of those enemies, and then clearing the mothership. Alright, so I've got another laser blaster. I'm now focusing on getting the remainder of the green ones so that there's only 1 row left, and then hopefully I'll be able to get the blocker, which I do. We are now on to the Uranus boss. This one is actually surprisingly easy. Each of its components, the left, right, and the middle, only takes 4 hits to destroy, so I've tried to quickly get the middle part, but unfortunately I kind of got my timing incorrect, so I did lose a bit of time there, but thankfully if it does get into its attack phase, it is quite easy to dodge and get its center component, and that is Uranus all done. Yeah, as I said, there's a lot going on really quickly. That's kind of hard to catch my breath. Anyways, moving on to Saturn. The unique alien on Saturn is called the Angler, and the Angler is super annoying in that they fire projectiles at 45-degree angles, and they are indestructible. So I want to actually try and stay away from the side of the playing field as much as possible, because if those angled bullets hit the side of the playing field, they bounce back. So if it catches me off guard, then I will lose a life. Now, losing a life isn't a big deal. You don't have to start the level again, but you do lose your double shot. So, and it's kind of unpredictable as to when a mothership will give out a double shot. So essentially, ideally, when I do a run of this game, I don't want it to die. So I'm aiming for a horizontal one here. Now I'm getting another horizontal as well. Slight double line clear on the right-hand side. Oh, I should also mention that the special missile from the Anglers is called the boomerang shots. It shoots a boomerang from right to left. It is definitely one of the less useful power-ups. It is a, you know, it is a little useful for kind of helping you clear stuff that you'd otherwise not be able to get quickly. But yeah, it's not the most useful ones out of the other special missiles. Yeah, I have a little bit of trouble killing this one, but that's okay. He ran into a barrier. Now, I've saved a diagonal burst because there is a setup for this level where you start in the middle with the diagonal, and then what you're supposed to do is go to the right to kill those yellow aliens, but I accidentally went to the left instead. But that's alright. I've got, so I just have to go back to the right to clear those yellow aliens, and that is all good. Alright, we're back to the mothership stage. I also like to call this the coffee break stage, because you can just kind of relax for a bit, catch your breath, rest your fingers. There's no real speed strat to this one. The only thing you need to be considerate of is making sure you destroy the last mothership as quickly as possible. Because as soon as you destroy the last mothership, then the next level starts right away. So that's the main thing you're looking for. Alright, so this one was just a big grid. I used my saved boomerang shot to kind of help me get rid of the outer columns, and now I'm just clearing the rest of them manually. As you can see, I cleared a couple of those projectiles from the red one just so I could get to the next level faster. The boomerang shot kind of helped me there, and now I've got just a few aliens left. dodged all of the angled shots, and this one, level 8's a full grid as well, so I'm using the boomerang again just to help me out so I can just focus on the middle and focus on clearing the columns as quickly as possible. So that is all good and dandy. So as per usual, when you get to one alien left, similar to the original Space Invaders, they start going down really fast. So with practice, like, I can kind of get them mostly consistently, but it still can be tricky sometimes. All right, we're at level 10. This one's pretty easy. A little setup here. I just clear the outside. I clear the yellow ones on the right-hand side first, and then I am just killing the remainder with no abilities. I did lose my shield, but that's okay. That's what the shield's for. Now we're up to what I call the ring boss. This one's really easy. So you just start by pulling hard all the way to the left-hand side to destroy one of its components. And then after it's finished with that one, you go to the right to destroy its laser cannon. And then there's a safe spot on the right-hand side. You just keep spamming the missiles until you destroy the ring and finish off Saturn. Okay, Saturn is all good. We are now heading on to Jupiter. Alright, we're at the next stage now. We are in Jupiter. The unique alien on this stage is called the Freezer. They look a little bit like birds. The special missile you get from killing 4 freezers in a row is the acidic cloud, which is super satisfying, and I will explain a little bit more after I use it on the next level. The projectiles from the freezers are destructible, but if they don't have any aliens below them, there is a chance they will swoop down and fire a high-powered laser. Now, this makes them easier to kind of like get rid of the last remaining few, like as you can see right here. But if you get hit by that short-range laser, it's an insta-death. So the acidic cloud that pretty much disintegrates any alien in its path, which is super useful, but I tend to only really use one at a time because at the beginning of the level. I use one at a time at the beginning of a level where I can, because if I let it linger, like if there's only a few aliens left, the next level will not load until the acidic cloud is gone, which can waste some time. So I try to just use it at the beginning where I can. I guess a silver lining is that it disintegrates if it hits a mothership at the top, so it's kind of hard to time that, though. Alright, we're at the level 5 now. We're pretty much halfway through. I'm just getting these vertical blasts here. I'm going to be saving a vertical blast for the next level. And there we go. We are already on to the mothership stage of Jupiter. In regards to the behavior of the acidic cloud, there are 3 ways it can go. It can either just kind of drift straight up, it can drift to the left, or drift to the right as it goes upwards. There's really, I don't believe there's kind of any way you can predict which direction it'll go. I believe it is just random, so I'm not always kind of too strategic with kind of where I put it. I just make sure I put it in a place where it can destroy a lot of aliens. It doesn't really matter too much if I don't focus on the direction of that. Now, level 7 actually doesn't have many aliens. I decided to pop out a acidic cloud there, but it didn't really work too well for me because it drifted to the left. So that's an example of when it can kind of not work your way. Alright, so I got a diagonal burst here. We've got a full grid full of aliens, so I just made sure I had the diagonal burst where the freezers were. So I have an acidic cloud, and I can use that to clear the aliens on this level relatively quickly. Alright, this one's pretty fun and pretty easy. There's a lot of freezers and a lot of reds. That freezer wasn't too helpful for me. It just drifted to the left, so I just fired off another one to help me clear the rest on the right-hand side. And as you can see, unfortunately, I have to kind of wait for it to go off the stage. So a couple seconds I could have saved, but it's no huge deal. Alright, starting off this level by clearing a column of the freezers, which are just one from the left. And now I'm just clearing this last column before we get onto the boss, which I call the grasshopper because it looks a bit like a grasshopper. So the strategy here, I'll just fire a couple of shots so I can get it in its hitbox before it loads up its barriers. I actually don't have to fire any missiles at the first bomb it throws because it always goes on an angle. So by getting those 2 hits in early, that means as soon as I clear 1 barrier, then the remaining hits I can get onto the grasshopper, it'll destroy it. Alright, so now we're on to Mars, and Mars is so infuriating. It is really stressful, because the unique alien on Mars is called the Burster. Now, you haven't been able to see it yet, which I'll explain why you haven't been able to see its ability in a second. But the reason it's called the Burster is that if you destroy a Burster, as you can see here, it fires 5 different projectiles in 5 different directions. So that can make it really hard to navigate the playfield without getting hit. So the way you get around that is by firing special missiles at the Burster. So as you can see here, I use the horizontal left, and if you hit it with a special missile, it will not burst. And similarly, if it runs into a barrier, it also will not burst. But sometimes I have no option but to kind of shoot the alien and just try and go quickly in the meantime. You might have seen earlier I lost my shield, but that's alright, I just regained it. Now with this one, I'm going to use the barriers to help me. I'm going to push up the first 2 from the left up, so that way when they shift down a row, they just run into the barriers and they don't split. Now usually I don't clear the far right column, but so that's kind of lost a little bit of time, but not much. So now my focus now is getting the horizontal right, so I can clear this last remaining row of bursters without them bursting into their projectiles. Alright, moving on to level 5. Oh, the special missile from the Burster is the Sine Wave missile. It is, you know, I think it's less useful than the boomerang shot, to be honest, but I always kind of do my best to kind of angle it so it at least gets rid of 1, maybe 2 bursters. I was pretty lucky at the beginning of that level because it's hard to kind of get a special missile when you fire that because it doesn't go in a straight line, but thankfully I was able to get the horizontal left by going in just the right position on the playfield and firing it, and then that allowed me to clear the top row of bursters. Alright, just getting rid of these motherships, and there is a strategy for this level. So I attempted to clear the second row, but unfortunately I didn't align the missile properly, so we still have kind of 2 full rows of bursters. And so my backup here was to kind of just fire at them indiscriminately, because, you know, if I wait too long or just hesitate, that loses time. So if all else fails, it's really kind of essential to kind of learn the movement, learn kind of and just memorize what the best way is for getting projectiles and stuff out of the way, and just yeah, just not really pausing. Alright, but I managed to get that one out of the way. We're at the level 8 now. I used my save diagonal blast to get rid of most of the bursters, which is fantastic. There's a time stop here, which I'm actually going to grab because that's just super helpful. It does take a bit of time, like if you hit a burster, I should say, with a time stop, it will still shoot projectiles, but if you fire in the same place 5 times, you will be able to kind of clear them. They're just invisible. As you can see from the missiles I fired, it looks like it's firing at nothing, but it's actually the bursters that haven't loaded yet. Sorry, the white projectiles from the bursters, I should say. But yeah, I did as much as I can, but with this one, unfortunately, the only thing I can really do is spam and dodge, so this is when it really starts to look like a bit of a bullet hell game, but with a bit of practice, they're not the hardest to dodge. Alright, we're at level 10 already, so I'm going to go ahead and get these horizontal rights to clear that very top row of bursters. Watch out for those projectiles. I'm going to clear these vertical bursts. And now I'm going to get a, I actually timed my shot so that I got a red rip at the top because I only needed 1 more red alien to get the vertical blast, so I could get that last burster without it bursting into its 5 different shots. So now we are on the boss for Mars. These are what I like to call the troopers. So what I started with was I just fired at the middle alien for about 10 seconds? Yeah, about 10 seconds. And then I leave the middle trooper alone. I'll get back to that later. And now I'm focusing on the right one. Unfortunately, it can be a little tricky to kind of get destroy the right-hand one before it moves on top of the other remaining trooper and kind of shields itself. So usually I'm able to get rid of them a lot quicker, but just for the sake of being careful, I'm just carefully weaving in and out of its projectiles. And that is Mars over and done with. In my opinion, definitely the hardest stage. But, you know, with some practice and just with some quick thinking, it's pretty straightforward. We're now on to Venus. Now, with Venus, there is an alien here called the Kamikaze. Now, the Kamikaze, its power-up is quite... The power-up you get from it is quite powerful, but they are kind of dangerous to work around. So, the unique ability of the Kamikaze is that if you shoot it once, then it immediately flies down to the bottom of the playfield, and if it hits you, it's like an instant death. However, the special ability you get from killing the Kamikazes is called the Tank Kamikaze, where your tank just flies up and can pretty much destroy a whole column instantly, as I am doing here. And the silver lining, actually, is if you kill a Kamikaze alien while it's flying down, and then, you kill a Kamikaze, and then you shoot a missile while it's flying down to the bottom of the screen, that counts as a second bar towards your power-up. So what I'm doing here is I'm just clearing as many columns as possible. On some later levels, I'll be timing it so that on the way back down, I kill another column of aliens. So I got a horizontal right here. There is a way you can clear the aliens quickly, but I kind of messed up the order here, but that's alright. Just focusing on getting the Tank Kamikaze ready for the next level. And then, yeah, just clearing this last one and clearing that projectile so the next level loads slightly quicker. Alright, we are on to another mothership stage. And if you look at the background carefully, we're actually not on Venus. We are on a space station which is rotating around Venus. And that's probably because of how hot Venus is. It just wouldn't make sense for any life form, even in a space tank, to go onto it. Alright, so I'm starting off by clearing that far left column. I am then focusing on getting another Kamikaze, and then clearing any columns with at least 2 Kamikazes in it, so I can get another Kamikaze. It has a good domino effect. And I want to save my Kamikaze for the next level, so I am just clearing the rest of these enemies normally. Clearing that projectile. Level 7's quite fun, quite easy. There's a lot of columns of, like, Kamikazes, which I can just get rid of instantly. And I'm just going to try and clear this last one by going up and down, and I killed the remaining aliens in that little square on the way down. Alright, so with this one, again, I'm trying to aim for the same thing. I'm just doing each column normally, but then I'm aiming to kind of clear another column as I go back down. It's only really effective once they start going a little faster, but it's still a lot faster than just maybe focusing on one column only and then having to kill the rest of them manually. Alright, this one's a little tricky because they don't have, apart from the middle 2 columns, they don't have 2 Kamikazes in a row, so this is where I need to be careful. I have a max energy there, which I just used to fill up the remainder of my power meter. Energy meter, I should say. Same thing. And there we go. One mothership left. We're on to the last level of Venus now. I'm just going to use my vertical burst to get rid of that alien near the center. And then I'm going to be using the horizontal one to clear the very top row of Kamikazes. And that is pretty much it. And just get rid of that last blue one. And now we are on to the boss of Venus, which is the very hungry space caterpillar. So I start on the left-hand side, and then I kind of follow along with it and just spam as much missiles into its components as possible. Get a little bit on the head there. Then on its next speed-up phase, I go to the far right to just get some damage on other components. And now I've only got one component left to destroy, and that is Venus all done and dusted. Definitely a little tricky. However, the Tank Kamikaze is definitely a powerful and fun power-up to use. Now we're coming up onto the final stage of this run, which is Earth. Yes, we are on our homeland. The aliens have invaded Earth, and I must say, this music has always kind of made me... It's always given me goosebumps because it has a sense of finality to it, you know? Anyway, so the unique alien on this stage is called the Splitter. And what's unique about the Splitter is that if you hit it, it will split into various several smaller versions of itself. And so that makes it really annoying to destroy. There are a couple things you can do, though, to get rid of them quickly. The main thing, which you'll see right here, is called the splitter skip. So if you hit a splitter before all of the aliens have loaded into their respective frames, then it will not split into smaller versions of themselves. So I am going to try and do that as much as I possibly can. The silver lining with the smaller versions, though, is that they count towards filling the power meter up with the special missile called the Pyramid Blast. It's not the most useful one, but in terms of clearing a good chunk at once, it can be. You just got to be careful to make sure you aim it correctly. As you may have seen earlier, it can be quite difficult to aim them correctly, and then it just goes straight off the top of the screen. So I'm just using a Pyramid Blast to clear off this little chunk, and now I'm aiming for the top row, which got rid of a fair few of the splitters. I'm now going to save the horizontal right for the next level, and there we go. Now, the projectiles which are fired from the splitter, when it's not split up, they're indestructible, and it can be quite rapid. But the projectiles which are fired from the smaller version of the splitter, you can destroy them, but still their rate of fire is quite rapid, so they still are kind of quite annoying to deal with. Alright, moving on to Earth Level 6. I have just gotten rid of all of those splitters there without them splitting, which is super helpful. As you can see, I got a double row clear there, which cleared off a huge chunk of the enemies on the right-hand side. Level 7, there's only 20 aliens on the stage, but it's still quite annoying. Like, as you can probably see there, I was dodging the purple indestructible projectiles, so that kind of made me lose a bit of time. So I'm honestly quite surprised myself that this level, for as little aliens as there are on there, it's still quite challenging. But I'm just saving a Pyramid Blast for the next level, starting near the left corner. That didn't quite go as fast as I wanted to, and then I'm gaining a diagonal blast to get rid of the splitters, and yeah, and then just clearing the rest of the level normally. There is a bit of a faster way to do this, but I got some of the alignments wrong, but that's alright. I just made sure I was constant with my fire. So I saved the vertical blast from the last level, and now I need to save a Pyramid Blast for the last level before the boss. And the last level, it is one single row of splitters, and if you don't have any power-ups, it can be tricky. So I'm just going to kind of align myself here, fire one on the left, one in the middle, one on the right, get rid of this small one on the right, and then use one more Pyramid Blast to get rid of the remaining. Alright, final boss time. This boss has a very thin hitbox, so I'm going to be moving along with it to get as many shots into its hitbox as possible while it is walking from side to side. It's now going to go on to its, what I call the spray phase, so I need to carefully dodge the projectiles and dodge the missiles it throws too, and then just keep moving along with it, and that is time. And that is the end of the run. I have finished all planets, and I have cleared all bosses. So there is a cutscene that actually plays once you finish the game. It's the same one for each difficulty. And I'll actually let that play out because I do find it quite, I don't know, it's good fun. I'll let you watch it. looks like the aliens aren't quite done with Earth yet. Alright, so that's the end of the game. And if you complete the game in normal mode, you have access to a new option in the main menu. And the new option is the classic version of Space Invaders, which I think is a nice touch, honestly. I mean, the name of the game is literally just Space Invaders, so I guess it's technically not false advertising anymore now that they've got the original version of Space Invaders on the disc. Yeah, look how cool I'm ahead. Anyway, while I'm wrapping up with clearing the remaining aliens here, I just want to thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. This is always a lot of fun. Can be a bit stressful, but that's the joy of speedrunning for you. Yeah, it's just really not much else to say. And, you know, whatever happens, I do hope to see everyone at Games Done Quick one day or another. And, I'm not good with outros, but yeah, look, again, thanks for watching, and to anyone from AGDQ watching, absolutely love the event. Love what you guys all do, and I'll continue to keep supporting you through the future. Cheers, guys. Take care.